schön.
After hearing correct, the guy would just push the casing in.
And then it flips automatically in and then...
Yep. Yeah, the casing, the end of the casing right here, right there.
Ah, okay.
It actually fits.
Ja, schon schön hier.
Cheryl lives down in the south, working at the Waffle House. Has a second job at midnight when it's time to leave. Costs $7.50, never seems to pay the rent. You gotta have a trick or two that's hidden up your sleeve. But living ain't a magic act, days are long and that's a fact. Money still ain't quite enough for her and all the kids. Times have changed, she always says. The good old days are gone and dead, but she tucks the kids into their bed like mama
Oh ja.
always did.
Ist doch auch nicht schlecht, wenn man frei hat. Mitten 10 Minuten weg von zu Hause.
Folks don't buy no more. Now he's in an old motel. Lately he don't sleep too well, holding down a darkness that he's never felt before. But some nights when it's getting late, a diner by the interstate serves him up a nice hot plate to fill him for a time. Cheryl's always working there, the big blue eyes and auburn hair. She treats him nice and seems to care about what's on his mind. But it's hard when you ain't got nobody. It's hard when nowhere feels like
Wenn es los
home.
ist, haben wir uns mal wieder auf den Weg gemacht. Und zwar um die englische Seite der Siedler nachzuvollziehen. Die französische kennt ihr ja, da waren wir schon mal. Der Truck ist noch kaputt, die Teile sind gestern gekommen, heute Samstag. Ihr werdet das Video ja am Montag sehen. Ich werde euch ein bisschen was zeigen von unterwegs, wenn wir drin sind. Und im Moment, wie gesagt, sind wir gerade angekommen hier, King's Landing. Ist etwas nördlich von Fredericton. Und ja, wie gesagt, Truck ist noch kaputt, wird repariert. Denke ich mal, vielleicht Mitte der Woche wieder einsatzbar. Mal sehen. Also jetzt gehen wir erstmal hier hin und dann nehmen wir auch rein. Da ist schon mal der Kohle haben will wahrscheinlich. Wir sehen uns später drin. So, jetzt laden wir mal eine Waffe so ordentlich hin.
So you just made the ammunition right here on this board. As you can see, it
Yeah.
has like little holes and divots for it.
Ja.
So pick it up, and the guy would go over. He'd make sure that it's the correct ammunition. He'd tell the number one, you know, HE Quick Charge 4. So he'd,
It's always a two-man job here or what?
yep. So there's only two guys that are supposed to be up here,
Yeah.
except for when the guy's loading, right? The
Okay.
guy would come up, load, and then go back.
Alright.
So what his job is he makes sure it's the correct ammunition and the correct charge, right? So those charge bags that I showed you there, you would actually grab the extra ones, rip them off, and
Okay.
then tell them correct, right? So after hearing correct, the guy would just push the casing in.
And then it flips automatically in and then...
Yep. Yeah, the casing, the end of the casing right here, right there.
Ah, okay.
It actually hits. I don't know if you can see that. That little thing right there that I'm poking.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the trigger for this to
Okay.
come up, and yeah, and then we're ready to fire after that. Do you want to pull the lanyard? It's not gonna make a big boom. Don't worry. It's just
Well,
dummy
then,
ammunition.
you see the house, be careful on that. you just pull it and that's it.
Yep.
That's it?
That's it. Exactly.
Well, it's not going. The house is still there. Thank you, gentlemen.
Of course.
Have a great day.
You too.
So, jetzt haben wir gerade die moderne Technik gesehen. Jetzt gehen wir rüber zu der etwas älteren Technik, meine lieben Freunde. Gucken wir, die uns erklären. Oh, die machen sich was zu essen. Gucken wir, ob wir was schlauchen können.
In Europe, it's called the 7 Years' War. You know? Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
So, hier sind alle die Musketen, die quasi damals verwendet wurden. Hier haben wir auch mal eine. Ich kann mal ein bisschen näher zeigen. Dann war hier, that was the powder in there? Or?
Yeah. I'll show you here when
Ah, okay.
when that. The first style is matchlock muskets.
Okay.
They were made they were invented in the 1500s,
Okay.
and they stayed around for roughly 200 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they used them right up to the 1700s. When Champlain from France first landed in North America in 1604, which is only about 50 miles, this is what he would have.
Okay.
Yeah, and they carry, most of them carry the thing like this, and each one, each one would have the right amount of gunpowder in it.
Okay, so this is for one shot or?
One shot.
One shot.
One shot. Yeah.
Okay.
And there was 12 of them.
Yeah.
They call them the 12 apostles. You know, like from the Bibles, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. They kept you alive. That's the whole thing.
Then it was not a bullet.
Yeah. No,
was it?
just the gunpowder only. They
In the beginning, in the 1500s was only the gunpowder.
Yeah.
And what
And
happened
this
when
here, they had a round ball. See, they would take this out. They would pour the gunpowder down the barrel,
Yeah.
and then in this here, they would have a round ball.
They put a bullet in the
Yeah,
top.
the round ball would drop down in there. Then they would take something to hold it in there, like could be moss, a piece of cloth, or anything, so the ball wouldn't roll out, right?
Yeah.
So and then they take the
Just a bullet and then they put it.
drive it down to the bottom of the
Yeah.
boat. Like that,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
right up.
And what happened if they are in a hurry?
Well, you
In that time there
run,
wasn't.
you run.
You run and do it when you're running. I think they
Yeah.
are trained to do it like that.
So now you got your black powder down in here, right?
Yeah.
A round ball here, right?
Yeah.
You take this thing off because this is lit. This will take at least 2 hours to burn, maybe 3 hours. It's very slow. It's called a slow match. So then this thing, because you open it up, you see you got a little hole inside.
Yeah. See that hole?
Side of the musket. So you take out the gunpowder, you
Put it
pour
in
a
there.
little butt right in here, you close this up. Remember, this thing is lit. You put that in there.
Wow.
When you're
Wow.
ready to shoot, open it up, and pull the trigger. Boom.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That takes a while.
Yeah.
The Germans made the best ones.
The Germans made the best ones.
Yeah.
Oh,
German,
okay.
yeah. I think they made the perfections of it. The Germans did, yeah. And then the French and English took it off, whatever. The first ones in the 1500s mostly had a lever like this.
Oh, okay.
And then the trigger was invented in early 1600s.
Yeah.
And I think somebody's sitting around the table one night. Oh, it must be an easier way. Let's make this little thing here. What are we going to call it? Let's call it a trigger.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And then,
This is interesting.
And then you have the new ones.
yeah, then they got rid of this thing.
Yeah. So you don't have them anymore.
No more. No.
No more. So about when they stopped, end of 1600 or?
No. Yeah.
Was that one?
But they stayed around and. I read an article in 1715, the British Army that was in Ireland,
Yeah.
they were all given new matchlocks.
Okay.
But the flintlock was invented around 1650.
Okay.
But they didn't really catch on until about 1670.
And that goes quicker, I guess.
Yeah, you load it the very same.
The very same
Gunpowder,
powder.
round ball, you know, with the down wadding to hold it in.
Yeah.
But now, same thing. You have the little hole
Yeah.
in the musket, the little pan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you put a little gunpowder in there. Close that. This is called a frizzen. And you cut this back, and this little piece of rock is flint.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Flint,
yeah,
flint, flint is harder
Yeah.
than
Fire
steel.
sign. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you pull the trigger, see the
Okay.
spark sets that powder off, and boom.
That goes quicker.
Yeah. Now this is an English trade gun. This is the cheapest of the cheap. This is the Walmart special.
The Walmart special.
Yeah. And every household, the natives loved this because it was light,
Yeah.
and an ordinary person, farmer or whatever, because this is 24 gauge, you know, smaller gauge, and you could shoot, defend your home, you know, shoot, you know, deer, animal, whatever, and it was all around. And
This was for everybody.
everybody, this is the cheapest of the cheap, but nothing for, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. But
It looks more heavy.
yeah, now in the 1650, the first muskets, the first flintlocks come out, they did not have a, they call a half-cock, a safety on them.
Okay.
And they call this a dog lock ignition. It looks like a dog's back leg,
Yeah.
and this held it in until you're ready to shoot it.
So you
Yeah.
can hold him.
Yeah, that will hold it. This is a Dutch trade gun of 1670s.
1670s.
Yeah, and
Dutch.
the Dutch in the 16 and
Die Holländer wieder
1700 were the world's best for trading guns.
Okay.
If you wanted a shipload of these, the Dutch would get it for you. You got the money. They didn't care who they sold it
Yeah.
to.
The Dutch get everything.
Yeah, they didn't care.
Yeah. That is normal.
But the 1700s, the Dutch had a pretty good navy too. They
Yeah.
had one of the better navies in the world,
Okay.
equal to the British really. And but they were, and
They were thinking they're close to the
yeah,
British.
that they traded all over the world. They were like the Russians and Americans today, you know, traded arms. If you want a shipload of cannons, they'll get it for you.
Not bad.
And then every
Last but not least, the modern one.
yep, every army, the British Army, maybe the German Army, French, Spanish, every military had their own style of musket. This is the British style. The British came out with this in the 1720s, and they used it for 100 years until the 1820s.
Wow.
And it's called, the nickname is called a Brown Bess, and it's 11 gauge, took 3/4 inch round ball. But to get rid of all the gunpowder thing, all the armies came up with this here called, they were a made-up cartridge, already made up. So you would have a round ball inside this paper.
Completely already.
Yeah, round ball, your gunpowder. They tear this off, tear it open. They put the powder in there, close this up, down, pour the rest of the gunpowder down the barrel. Then you would have the round ball piece of paper, right? And they drive that down in, and shake your ramrod and
And then you do the same like always.
yeah.
Oh,
All
okay.
the armies learned to do 3 rounds per minute by doing this.
3 rounds in a minute.
Yeah, and it was
3
beating it.
Runden in a minute. Wow.
Yeah, there was no rear sight, you know, it was just your front sight. And all they wanted was hundreds of round balls going down that way. They didn't care where they were going, as long as they were going downfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 7 Years' War was happening in Europe at that time. You know, there was only one battle in North America that was shot that was the same as European, you know, shoulder to shoulder, and that
Yeah.
was at Quebec City. And the rest of it was all guerrilla type warfare in North America. And that's why the French had the Middle East, which were French but born in North America, and the British they got like us that were born in North America.
Okay.
Yeah, and we knew what the style of fighting, and the 3/4 of the natives in North America were on the French side, and so that's why they were really good at it. So, yeah. last one, of course, there was rifle muskets. Rifle muskets.
Yeah.
They were made in the 1600s, but they were cost 100 times more than a smoothbore.
Oh, okay.
A lot more work to them, and then as soon as you can get 15 or 20 rounds out of these before you have to clean them.
Yeah.
That's why the military stayed with these. A rifle musket, 3 rounds, you got to stop and clean it up.
Wow. So it was a disadvantage if you have a rifle musket.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
This
This is
right.
the one.
This is a German Jaeger. It came
Okay.
out in the 1760s. The Germans made the shorter version. There were 54 caliber.
And what is this?
That's a sight on it. You plumb this in.
Ah, you see?
Yeah.
Yeah, because how you do with the other one?
Yeah,
you
no,
don't
it's
have
just
this.
you just aim and hope it will go there.
So, Pi mal Daumen, vielleicht triffst du ihn, vielleicht triffst du
Yeah, I
nicht.
thought so. I was like, I
Yeah.
remember my dad. He always have a little
Yeah,
hole you
yeah.
can
See, this
in
what
it.
had.
Yeah.
See, the rifle was out of the front and
Oh,
rear
yeah.
sight,
Ah,
and there were. See, it has the grooves of the barrel.
Yeah.
See the.
Yeah, it's over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, and you put the gunpowder down in, and then you have a round patch like
Yeah.
put that in a round ball, and you would have to drive it down in, and it goes against the grooves of the barrel. So when it comes out, it's spinning like that. And it comes out.
Spinning, but much more you
Yeah, I
did.
can say 100 meters. This would,
Exactly.
This would drop a deer, no problem. 100
Yeah,
meters.
exactly.
And the smoothbore 50 meters is. You can hit a target at 50 meters, and it'll go 100 meters, but after 50
But effective 50 meters.
is about it.
And here you got effective 100 meters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus,
Double.
plus they had a. You're ready to fire it. They had a set trigger. You pull the back one.
Yeah.
And we're ready. You just touch this, and it goes.
The Germans, always
good
the
job.
Germans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it-
And they had real nice dogs, and you know it was.
No, this is
Yeah. And like the Revolutionary War, the Germans, Hussins, is that what they call them? Hussin? They were attached with the British in the Revolutionary War.
Oh yeah, it can be.
Yeah, but a lot of them had these.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ja.
So, das nächste geht's weiter im Dorf, im alten Dorf, und wie es da weitergeht, das seht ihr dann im zweiten Teil dieser Woche, wo ich euch dann nur mit dem alten Zeug belasten werde. Also, bis später.
Cheryl lives down in the south, working at the Waffle House. Has a second job at midnight when it's time to leave. Costs $7.50, never seems to pay the rent. You gotta have a trick or two that's hidden up your sleeve. But living ain't a magic act, days are long and that's a fact. Money still ain't quite enough for her and all the kids. Times have changed, she always says. The good old days are gone and dead. But she tucks the kids into their beds like Mama always did. But it's hard when you ain't got nobody, and it's hard when nowhere feels like home. And it's hard when the world has gone crazy. Seems just like everything means nothing at all. He was laid off just last week, making parts for big machines that made a lot of fancy things that folks don't buy no